On this episode of the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics podcast, I discuss the lyrics to an almost Sign of the Times ballad, Crucial, released on the 1998 Crystal Ball collection. Crucial was recorded in September of 1986 at Prince's Galpin Boulevard home studio in Chanhassen, Minnesota, and by mid-September of 86, the parade tour just wrapped up in Japan. While Prince had not officially disbanded the Revolution yet, members of the band have since said that the end of that tour felt like the end of the band, and they were proven right shortly after. Prince recorded the song twice, once on September 13th and again 2 days later on September 15th with different lyrics. The first version from September 13th was the version that was released on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe from 2020, while the second version from September 15th was the one that we would get while Prince was still alive in 1998's Crystal Ball collection. Eric Leeds' sax overdubs were added a couple of months later, in November, at Sunset Sound Studios in Hollywood. Claire Fisher's orchestral overdubs were added in January of 1987. And according to Prince Vault, Crucial was written for the planned musical called The Dawn. However, in the Crystal Ball liner notes, Prince himself wrote, "Cool ballad, originally intended for Sign of the Times album, replaced by a door." So there you have it. Cool ballad, as Prince called it, and one that never found a home on a Prince album in the 80s, but eventually made its way to our ears via bootlegs, official recordings in the 90s, and then, of course, the posthumous release in 2020. So we've got two different versions, officially released versions of Crucial to treat our ears to. And I'm going to start with the original version's lyrics, which were unreleased until 2020. My baby let me touch her on a Thursday night. Her scent stayed with me until Friday noon. I couldn't wash my body for fear of losing the budding heart of my sweet baby's perfume. So here Prince is talking about how amazing his baby smells. He spent the night with her, still smells her on him the next day, and couldn't bring himself to shower. So the first verse here is meant to establish, I think, that he's really into her, and including her scent. So that's, I think, pretty crystal clear through the first verse's lyrics that this is someone that he's very, very into, and even the scent of her or her perfume is certainly worth savoring and worth the time that he's spending on avoiding showering, for lack of a better term. And with Crucial is interesting because it's got verses, it's got a pre-chorus, and then it's got the chorus. So then after that verse, Prince goes into the pre-chorus. I ain't saying you're better, baby. I ain't saying you're not. I ain't saying anything until I've got. Our bodies entwined, that's when you'll be mine, for always and for all time. So in the pre-chorus, he doesn't want to gas her up too much, but he's also not going to admit that she's not all that, because that would be a lie. He's looking to connect and cement the connection before taking it to the physical realm, is what I'm getting at, or kind of what I'm understanding from these lyrics. Bodies entwined can be, provide visuals of a sexual encounter, but also something simple like holding hands. Your bodies are entwined when you hold hands. The fingers are entwined at that stage. And also the commingling of lives can be a metaphor. Personalities, interests, social lives, if you're married, finances even. All this gets entwined when you're in a serious relationship, meaning like taking it to the next stage. But yeah, obviously sex is probably the most simple and more likely interpretation of that, but certainly it can be more than that. Then after the pre-chorus, we get the chorus itself, Crucial. Baby, our love has got to be crucial. Everything from A to Z, crucial. You've got to show me everything, everything. And for something to be considered crucial or to be called crucial, that implies that it's extremely important, it's essential, it's vital. Prince is saying that love has to be crucial. It has to be essential. It's crucial. This love is crucial to living a happy, fulfilling life. That's how I interpret these lyrics. It's vital to the person, to the couple. It can't just be casual. It's crucial. This particular love is crucial. Crucial to, again, engaging in a happy, healthy relationship. And show me everything. I like that line because it's telling me that he doesn't want her to hold anything back. No secrets, and everything must be shared. In order for this love to maintain its crucial status, he needs to be entwined again in not just in the physical, but in the emotional, the mental. And to do that, you have to really know somebody, inside and out. Give everything of herself to him. And hopefully he will do the same, although this song isn't a two-sided song. It's about what he's wanting from her in this relationship. Verse 2, is that old man river knocking at your door, saying we got to let more than our feelings show. Baby, tonight don't hold nothing back. I know you've got some more. I'll give you mine if you give me yours. So Prince, at the very beginning of this verse, mentions Old Man River. And, I had to look it up because I'm not that well versed in musical theater, but especially musical theater from a century ago. So Old Man River is a character from the 1927 musical Showboat. Prince was, a well-documented classic Hollywood movie lover, but I don't know if this extends to classic musicals as well. I'm not entirely sure about that. Showboat, it was a musical about the struggles of African Americans working on the Mississippi River during the turn of the century, and the song by Paul Robeson was covered by many artists over the years, including Sam Cooke, who of course Prince enjoyed listening to, or at least was very well aware of, in order to include Sam Cooke in the Rekisto scene from Under the Cherry Moon. And it was also covered by Aretha Franklin, so another famous black singer that Prince would have likely have listened to growing up, and was probably continuing to listen to as her career progressed. Old Man River, from a metaphorical standpoint, I think can be used as a phrase to describe a situation that's unchangeable, inevitable. So maybe he's saying that is the inevitability of our love knocking at your door, or is the unchangeable trajectory of our love, sort of like the mighty Mississippi, destined to reach its destination. The pathway of the Mississippi River is very clear, and it doesn't change. The curves of the river, when it turns straight, when it rounds about different rock formations, just it's carved its path, and it's not changing. It would take some sort of catastrophic geological event in order to change the trajectory of the Mississippi River. And maybe I'm overthinking this Old Man River line, but it kind of feels like that to me if you think of it, where the original meaning of the reference came from and what the musical is about. But at times I also think about this, like, is he just also trying to use Old Man River as a surrogate for fate or even God, telling the two young lovers to let more than their feelings show. Tonight, let's not hold back. As in, like, Old Man River wouldn't want us to. I don't know. Kind of seems like a surrogate stand-in for something greater, some higher power also at times, when I think about it. And then we get to the next pre-chorus. Everything that you learned in school, baby, I need to know. Everything that your mama taught you, oh, you got to tell me so. Baby, I won't stop. Ooh, until you let me cop. Your body is a river. I want every drop. Again, tell me everything that you know. He's repeated this many times. I've got to know. I've got to, you got to tell me. Don't hold nothing back. And he even says in the previous verse, I'll give you mine if you give me yours. Quid pro quo. I'll do the same for you if you do it for me. But this whole tell me everything you know, it's crucial that you share everything with me. You've got to show me everything. And until you let me cop meaning or being a slang term for having or gaining something from her. Her love, it can be cop a feel as well, but I don't know if that's what he means in this particular instance. Until you let me cop. And he doesn't really elaborate beyond that, so it could be, again, letting him touch her body, her getting to know her better, learning everything about her, or just, emotions, letting me cop her feelings, her emotions towards him. Your body is a river, so he says that here in this pre-chorus. It reminds me of the line from In Love off of his debut, For You. I want to play in your river. So here he's talking about your body is a river, which is better than your body is a wonderland. So for the John Mayer fans out there, I prefer your body is a river versus that. So no more lyrics for the second half of the song. That's pretty much it, because then he goes into the chorus again. Crucial, baby, our love has got to be crucial. Everything from A to Z, crucial. You got to show me everything. And that's it for lyrics, because really the second half of the song is just that epic guitar solo and more music. So now we'll transition over to the version of Crucial that I think is more well known because of how long it's been officially released and the popularity of the Crystal Ball project. I think, I don't know. I maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it exceeds the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe. I guess with streaming platforms, people can stream that because it is a bit cost prohibitive for a lot of people to buy such an enormous deluxe box set, either in CD format or in vinyl format. But with streaming services, streaming platforms, both versions are available as long as you know how to stream music. So I don't know. But I feel like because of this version having been out there for decades versus 6 years, people probably know this version better. And really the main difference from a lyrical standpoint primarily lies in that first verse. So the first verse of Crucial's Crystal Ball version 2, baby, you've got to be from a different world, 'cause just one look from you could make an army surrender. Baby, you've got to rescue me. Girl, a prisoner in love with the opposite gender. Completely different from the first verse. The first verse, in the previous version, had those lines about talking about her scent and how amazing she smells and not wanting to shower. This one uses metaphors of wartime events, prisoners of war surrendering to her beauty. She seems to be so beautiful that she could make even the enemy fall in love with her. He's a prisoner to her beauty as well, and he needs her to rescue him. So he just changes the metaphors quite a bit in this first verse of this version of Crucial. But I think it's still, the intent of the verse is to paint a picture of this beautiful woman who Prince's character that he's singing from is very enamored with, bottom line. The pre-chorus, the first pre-chorus at least, is half same, half different. I ain't saying you're better, baby, but I ain't saying you're not. I ain't saying anything until you stop playing the fourth and back, 'cause baby, I need a jack of all trades and a mind and body well made. So the fourth and back, that's an interesting way of saying back and forth. Basically, it's just flipped. It's just reversed. Instead of back and forth, he says fourth and back. and why he does that, just to be different, to help with the rhyming scheme that he's got going. I'm not sure. But he needs someone that's well-rounded, i.e. a jack of all trades, with a body and mind that are well matched to him. He says well made. He wants the whole thing, not just a smart girl, not just a beautiful girl, but this person has to be both. And I think he's saying she is, because I ain't saying you're better, but I ain't saying you're not. So again, he's still not wanting to gas her up too much, but also basically saying later in the verse that she's pretty much that person. And I ain't saying anything until you stop playing the back and forth. So he's also withholding a little bit here, wants to make sure that she's in it for real, and wants to make sure that he's not going to get played, ultimately. But he's telling her that he needs someone who's well-rounded, as I mentioned, and has the body and the mind. And I think he feels that she's got it, because then he goes right into the verse. Crucial, baby, our love has got to be crucial. Everything from A to Z, crucial. You got to show me everything. So, again, I believe this song is about someone that he's really into, but he's just wanting to make sure. And he's like this close to making that decision that she's the one. But he's just got to get over these last little bits of doubt. And he wants to make sure that she's on the same page as him in terms of sharing everything with him, being everything that he wants her to be. Understanding that whatever love that we're going to share has to be crucial. It has to be vital. It has to be all-encompassing. You can't go into it half-assed, basically. And he doesn't want a half-assed lover. And that's how I interpret the song from an overarching standpoint. The second verse is the same as in the first version. It's that old man river knocking at your door, saying that we got to let more than our feelings show. Baby, tonight, don't hold nothing back. I know you've got some more. I'll give you mine. I'll give you yours. So this is, again, you could use this like, okay, he's in the bedroom now, and think of it for that standpoint, because he talks about tonight, don't hold nothing back. I know you got more. I'll give you mine. I'll give you yours. Either there's a very special date that they've got planned, and he's trying to prepare her for this very special day. Like tonight, it's got to be special, and this is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting you not to hold anything back. I know in the past you've had more to give, and you didn't give it. So tonight, we got to make this be the special night. Old Man River's saying we got to do it. Got to let more than our feelings show. So you've got to give me more than just saying, I'm into you, I love you, I'm here for you. I want to get down into whatever depths that our emotions will allow us to do. And of course, it can also be interpreted that this is going to be the night that they might make love for the first time. And part of that could be what she's holding back. Maybe she's holding back part of her physicality, her body. And this is supposed to be the time that they get past whatever barriers or whatever concerns that she might have had before. Prince doesn't appear to have many concerns other than just the fact that he knows that she's holding back. Her concerns are not really understood because this is a one-sided song. So, but he's imploring her, don't hold back. And I think this love will be crucial as a result of you not holding back. Then the pre-chorus, again, it's the same pre-chorus as it was in the first, not in the first song, but he repeats the pre-chorus identically. So I ain't saying you're better, baby. I ain't saying you're not. I ain't saying anything until you stop playing the fourth and back, because baby, I need a jack of all trades, a mind and body well made. So it removes any of the previous pre-chorus lines about school, body being a river. He doesn't say letting him cop. He just uses the same similar rhyme scheme until you stop playing the back and forth. So I think he's just slightly tweaked the lyrics to make it a bit more consistent and the message a bit clear as to what he's trying to say. And I think that's why, when I'm going through the lyrics with the second version, the version from Crystal Ball, those lyrics make the song clear in my mind in terms of what he's wanting to, the point he's trying to make with the song. And then we get the chorus again, crucial, baby, our love has got to be crucial. Everything from A to Z, crucial, you got to show me everything. So at this point, the song is, there's still more than a minute of music at the end. It's not quite as long as the version that was on Sign of the Times, but it's still, I think, like a 5-minute song. Yeah, it's about a 5-minute song. So it's still not short, and partly it's because of the extended outro, as you like to do. And this one is very guitar-heavy outro. But yeah, that's crucial. Everything from A to Z. So let's get into the book. Okay, so there's a little bit of preface to when you start getting into crucial that I think is important. And it talks a little bit about the ending of the parade tour, basically spelling the end of the revolution, and talk about how Prince needed to get back into the studio, and this is in the early fall of '86. And the music that he'd be creating during this time, that is, would span a range that most musicians could not imagine. Even the songs that were discarded had the potential to be career-defining hits for other performers. But in the hands of the maestro, they were simply more examples of how effortlessly he could create something with depth on his own. Crucial, the track he recorded on this date, was the perfect example of this. What began as a minute-long piano demo with only a few scattered words blossomed into an exquisite representation of his love for his partner Susanna. In a way that is similar to Come Electra Tuesday, he describes how her perfumed scent from their embrace remained on him for days. Over the course of the song, he expresses how their love would be for always, and that her body is a river, and he wanted every drop. For the next several hours, Prince would layer elements from the Prophet synth, acoustic guitar, cymbals, a live snare drum, guitar, and bass over a Linn LM1 drum mix. Susanna would be asked to join him for background vocals, but the track was otherwise done solo by Prince. Susan Rogers had witnessed Prince capture lightning in a bottle many times. We spent a long time on Crucial, and I don't think it quite lived up to its early promise, in his mind perhaps. Crucial would undergo multiple overdubs, and Prince would rewrite the lyrics before it was released on his Crystal Ball CD set in 1998. He supposedly wanted to include the updated and edited version on Sign of the Times, but according to the liner notes for his '98 Crystal Ball release, it was eventually replaced with Adore. The track's title would be included in the lyrics of You Got the Look. And yes, that is true. Crucial was originally intended for The Dawn, but the project was never completed. An early draft of the script for Graffiti Bridge contained the song as it was recorded on this date, although it was removed before the start of production. And then from September 15th, which was the second version, there's a very little brief snippet of information. After reviewing Crucial, it appears that Prince wanted to spend more time on the track, and he almost completely revamped the lyrics, seemingly trying to make the song even more personal. It was fun watching those things happen, remembers Rogers. We could tell that he believed he had something special. Those were kind of magical moments because he would really labor over them. So that is what the book has to say about Crucial. I do enjoy Crucial. I don't think it's better than Adore, so I think he made the right choice. Ultimately, by incorporating Adore into Sign of the Times instead of Crucial, but Crucial's great. It's and I like both versions. I mean, similarly sounding, so unless you're really focusing on the lyrics, the two versions are not super discernible from each other. One's a little bit longer, and of course, as I mentioned in this episode, the lyrics are slightly tweaked. And I think for the better for the second version, the Crystal Ball version. But it's not like the first version's lyrics were bad. It's just I think the theme of the song is a bit clearer with the second version's lyrics, personally. So that'll do it for this episode of the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics podcast. I've been your host, Jason Brenninger. You can find the show at pressrewind.net, and until next time, thank you very much and goodbye.